and they have three policies. First is delivery regime, and second one is...
What is the first? I'm sorry.
Delivery regime. You know, our financial market has much more bubbles, so...
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
okay.
Delivery regime. And
Deleveraging. Okay, yes. I got it. Sorry.
Sorry.
How to understand?
Second one is adjust our structures, you know, our industry structure, and second one is third one is
anybody remember the third one?
Third one is
well, let me say what I think generally.
Don't stimulating our economics anymore.
Don't what? Stimulate, don't stimulate. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So if those are the three, then I think they're great. So one, stimulating the economy. Stimulating the economy is really, really bad policy. It never, ever works. It works in the short run, and you pay in the long run. Japan has been trying to stimulate the economy since 1991. For 23 years, no success. So let's try again. No, if Japan cut regulation, cut taxes, cut spending, the opposite of stimulating, they would be growing now. But nobody learns. So not stimulating the economy, very good. The government should stay out, shouldn't try to stimulate. Because part of what you do when you stimulate is you pick winners and losers. Because you give some people money, you don't give other people money. You distort the marketplace. Second, deleveraging. The whole world, particularly governments, have too much debt. The biggest problem in the United States is the government has huge amounts of debt, and most of the debt the government has is not on the books. On the books, we have about $17 trillion of debt. You guys own about 20% of it, right? China has bought about 20% of it. But what's not on the books is all the promises the U.S. government has made to old people, to sick people, to poor people, to everybody else, promises in the future. And those promises, there's no funding for them. And the difference between the funding and the promises is somewhere between, depending on which economist you talk to, somewhere between 60 to 120 trillion dollars. That's bigger than the world economy many times over. There's no way America could pay the debt, so I would sell your bonds short, but anyway. So deleveraging, Greece has too much debt. Germany, people don't talk about. Germany has massive amounts of debt. But again, it's a difference between what they promised and what the taxes they're going to be able to collect on. Huge amounts of debt. So the whole world needs to deleverage. Particularly governments. Some individuals have too much debt. But if I have too much debt, who suffers? If I have too much debt and can't pay it in the future, who suffers? Me and my bank. That's it. But if the U.S. government can't pay its debt, who suffers? The whole world. So it's very important for governments to shrink the amount of debt that they have. No government in the world is actually doing that. They're all expanding more and more debt. The third one was adjust the structure. So my understanding of this, and this is just my understanding and for what it's worth, right, is that what they're trying to do is reduce the government sector, in a sense, reduce the influence and the size of the state-owned enterprises and allow for more free enterprise, for more private companies. So, and at the same time, reduce corruption, eliminate corruption. And if that's what they're trying to do, if they're trying to shrink the socialist part and expand the capitalist part, then that's terrific. That'll be the only government in the world, or one of the few, moving in the right direction. So I'd say if they follow through on those policies, if they actually deleverage, if they actually shift more of the resources to the private sector, to the capitalist portion of the economy. And if they, third one, I forgot, but they're all in the right direction in my view, if they follow through. And in politics, maybe I shouldn't say this, but in politics in America at least, I never believe what the politicians say. In America, they almost always do the opposite once they start going. But hopefully in China, it won't be that way, and they'll actually do it. But I think it's moving in the right direction.